IPOB. Play your cards well, and Nnamdi will be released. Reno mockery to Igbos. Omokri also suggested the conversion of IPOB into a political party which will take control of the southeast region. Former presidential aide and author Nnamdi has reacted to the sit-at-home in the southeastern region of the country. Simonekpa, the Biafran agitator, had last week issued a one-week sit-at-home order forcing Igbos in the zone to stay indoors. Yesterday, Ekpa also issued another 2-week sit-at-home, arguing that it would make the federal government release Nnamdi, the IPOB leader. Undoubtedly, this directive is gradually crippling the economy in the zone. People are complaining over hardship following the removal of fuel subsidy. Then this. In view of the above, Omokri, in a statement on Twitter, faulted the sit-at-home, advising the indigenous people of Biafra to jettison further sit-at-home. He equally countered a false narrative that Nigerians hated Igbos, noting that if the narrative was true, people from the geological zone wouldn't be the most dispersed people in Nigeria. Omokri also suggested that the conversion of IPOB into a political party which will take control of the southeast region. First of all, I personally think that kind of advice, of all strategies, that is the least likely to be adopted, because it would be very ironic for IPOB, especially as, with Nnamdi calling Nigeria a zoo. Turning itself, IPOB, into a political party means that it becomes part of the animals in the jungle. So I think that would be very ironic, and it would not be a good look on Nnamdi, given the things he said and the criticisms on the Nigerian government. But I do believe that, yes, the IPOB definitely needs a strategy. First of all, I think they need a media strategy to counter, the false narratives and the, unfavorable stories that are linked and labeled as the identity of IPOB. When it comes to violence, when it comes to the sit-at-home order, when it comes to a lot of things, there's so many negative propaganda and image that I feel like Aloy Jimakor, who is the lawyer, doesn't have the capacity to counteract it, right? Because violence breaks, a lot of things happen and IPOB is blamed for it. And you have Aloy Jimakor, who is the lead counsel for both IPOB and Nnamdi, coming out as well to then, act as a publicity secretary for them. But yes, he wrote that Nigeria loves the Southeast. That is a lie. And that is the reason why they're the most dispersed. That is not the reason. I think naturally with commerce and trade, that being their strength and trying to expand, just means that in their nature, they would more likely spread around because they are business people, not because the country loves them. Again, if you look at different parts of the world, you would most likely find that if it's a Nigerian person doing business, most likely it's an Igbo person. But that obviously is stereotypical. Well, he continues and he says, for instance, if a federal or state government says everybody must pay taxes and it gets your turn, that victim complex will make you see such routine practice as hate. That is what happened with Misoma. A government agency fulfilling its lawful duty seemed like hatred because some of our brethren expected hostility. Very interesting. I'm so confused. I think he talked about so many things. Talked about Misoma, talked about the Alaba markets destruction. He just went all over the place. And I think his essay is literally point by point explaining why Nigeria and why, the Igbos are not hated. But it's not necessarily about hatred. Yes, when it comes to bigotry, ethnic bias, when it comes to the ethnic tensions that have been building, that is a different thing just on a social level. But systemically, when it comes to the government's interaction with Igbos or IPOB, the history behind the interaction makes it hard to see everything as innocent, right? Something, and especially when you look at the military in the southeast, or just, how the police, the way they act in that area, right? Young men that are, being literally attacked, taken in and labeled as IPOB, right? So when you see that, and unnecessary killings, so many things happening by the Nigerian government, right? Then it just seems like, wait, so what is the problem? What is the issue here? Why is the attention and focus here in this region from the government, on hyper focus? So when you start questioning things like that, of course, history comes in to play a part. And then you realize, okay, we can't just take things as they are. We have to look back at the history. And I think it'll be very delusional, or delulu, as others would say, for us not to take into account how history has brought us to where we are presently. But yes, I think Reno Mokri, giving his advice and his strategy, to be honest, I don't think he needs to be giving IPOB advice when it comes to how they should play their cards, because what is technically telling IPOB is to basically surrender and be part of the game so that they can, release IPOB. Because, the strategy of telling IPOB to become a political party literally is against what IPOB stands for in itself. So, yeah, that's not happening. But what you think, and don't forget to like and subscribe.